Okay, we're going to start looking at calculating wages and incomes. This is part one of hourly wages. So when it comes to money, the more the better. Students will learn about minimum wage, straight time, overtime, double time, and stacking, and how each one affects your wages. So minimum wage is the lowest amount of money you are allowed to be paid for 1 hour of work as defined by law. Right now, the state of Indiana, the minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. These laws change by state and can change yearly. The federal government also sets a national minimum wage. You will be paid whichever of these two rates, state or federal, is higher. And then here's a website to see how much minimum wage is in our area. Straight time is your normal hourly wage if you work up to 40 hours in a week. For example, your job pays $10 an hour. For the first 40 hours each week that you work, you earn straight time rate of $10 each hour. Overtime is your normal hourly wage times 1.5 for every hour that you work over 40 hours in a week. It could be for any hours worked in a single day over 8 hours. For example, your job still pays you $10 an hour, but if you work 45 hours in a week, the extra 5 hours of overtime are paid at $15 an hour. That is 10 times 1.5 equals $15 an hour. Double time is your normal hourly wage times 2 for every hour that you work under special circumstances. For example, your job pays you $10 an hour, but if you work 8 hours on Christmas Day, your company may offer you to pay you double time for those 8 hours. That is 10 times 2, which is $20 an hour. Most companies pay extra if you work on holidays. Stacking. Stacking is the math used by your company to determine if your hours are straight time or overtime hours. For example, you work 20 hours on Monday and 20 hours on Tuesday. If you stack those hours on top of each other, you've worked 40 hours that week. Any additional hours you work will now earn overtime. Not stacking. However, your company also has the option of paying straight time for the first 8 hours of each workday, no matter how many hours you have already worked that week. For example, Monday, 8 hours of straight time plus 12 hours of overtime. Tuesday, 8 hours of straight time, 12 hours of overtime. You are already at 40 hours for the week, but Wednesday, 8 hours straight time. They can do this because they're calculating overtime daily instead of weekly. Ask. Every company has different policies for how they figure overtime. You'll need to ask your manager how it is figured where you work. Review questions. If your wage is $10 an hour, how much would you be paid for overtime? How much would you be paid for double time? How much would you be paid for straight time?